Good evening, everybody, and welcome one and all to May 3rd, 2020. Welcome to the fourth Sunday in the season of Easter, what has been a very strange road through Lent and now through Easter, at least to this point as well. As the graphic indicates, my name is Mark Callahan, and I am the youth minister for the Concord-Carlisle Catholic Collaborative, which is home to Holy Family Parish in Concord and St. Irene Parish in Carlisle. This evening, we're going to spend some time together and work out some glitches um, as we experiment with this new opportunity together. It's so strange to not be together and be doing the things that we are so accustomed to. I pray that you and your loved ones have been safe, that you are healthy, and maybe as time goes along, that you are remaining sane and, of course, Christian to one another as well. Um, Certainly, we owe a deep debt of gratitude and enormous thanks to any and all people who are directly impacted by the coronavirus. Obviously, it has taken the world by storm, and we are not exempt. It is present in our communities, and so we thank those who are directly on the front lines from our parish communities, as well as those who are suffering in any way whatsoever. We certainly miss each and every one of you. It goes without saying that the priests and the deacons and our parish staffs, we just absolutely miss you like crazy and we love you. And I never in a million years thought that I'd be sitting here doing this. Um, but here we are, and we want to try to find as many ways to reach out and be with you as is possible. As you can see, the pandemic has allowed me the opportunity to grow a beard. I'm not too happy about the gray, but of course I'm losing hair on the top, so I don't know. The gray isn't as bad as losing it up top, I guess. But regardless, I'm not sure how long the beard will stay, but there it is, and it's with us at least for tonight. Today could have been captured as one of the best weather days in the world. It was absolutely gorgeous out there. It still is right now as we are recording this. And certainly we look to enjoy this weather as we go forward. One of the most exciting things for me was looking at the forecast ahead, and there is not a single day for the next 10 days that suggests we will get down into the 30-degree range, 39 or below, which is great. Everything's going to be 40s and up. And yeah, we'll have some precipitation, but nothing all that bad. Um, if you have any questions, you can certainly use the live chat here, but keep in mind not everybody will be watching this live. The video will remain on the Concord Carlisle Catholic Community YouTube channel, and so many will be tuning in after it has been put up live. So we're going to give you two different ways in which you can contact us. I would vote you not use the live chat just because for the most part, most people will be accessing us at a later time. And so the email that's on your screen right now is the one that you probably want to look into. YM for Youth Ministry at cccatholic.org. So Youth Ministry YM at cc-catholic.org. And we very much look forward to the opportunity to respond to you in any way. And there'll be different ways that you can reach out to us as we go. Um, if you do not have the means near you at this moment to take down just some quick notes later on, we will have a trivia section, and the trivia will be handled by emailing this address right here that I just gave you. So you might want to keep your either a notebook, or if you've got a phone or a device that you can record your answers to the 5 questions. That could save you some time later on, and your answers will come to that email address which I just gave you. So you may ask yourself, what are we going to do for these minutes together? And we're only going to be here for no more than 30 minutes. But we do have a plan on this fourth Sunday of Easter, so let's take a look and let's go right through that plan. First, we're going to start with some shout outs because there are some very important people that we need to recognize. We will have a few commercials of some very important things that we do not want anyone left out of the loop regarding. We have some upcoming stuff that you may want to note and consider whether or not you will participate or whether you are able. In this month of May, the Pope has asked us to pray the Rosary each day. And here locally in Concord-Carlisle, we are also taking prayer requests for each of the 5 decades of every daily Rosary. So in the month of May, 31 days and 5 decades each day, that's 155 different prayer opportunities which we will be able to lift up. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more. After that, we'll get to some trivia, and there is some prize opportunity ahead. One will be the fastest to the finish line, and then the other will be anyone who makes it to the finish line will qualify for a raffle when we reach Pentecost on May 31st. We'll have a few reminders of some things which are important perhaps to keep in mind when our minds get distracted these days with so many other things going on. We will also do a refresher on the best ways for us to keep in touch in these days and times. So first, I'd like to start with the shout outs section. And as we record this, as I mentioned, and as it says on the screen, it's Sunday, May 3rd. Yesterday, May 2nd, would have been the confirmation at Holy Family Parish this year. And in 6 days, on May 9th, would be the confirmation for St. Irene Parish. It breaks our hearts to know that we have been unable to this moment to celebrate those confirmation sacraments with our parish and faith communities as well as your families and friends. But rest assured, we will do it whenever we can make it safe and also, without getting too far beyond what is the possibility. So stay with us and know that we have not forgotten you, and certainly we want to keep you safe through it all. Secondly, our high school seniors, not only Concord-Carlisle High School, but all high school seniors, and I would even say our college graduating classes. It's one of those situations where their life is more upended perhaps than the rest of ours, because these are memories you can really only live once, the way they come around. And so to that end, we want to find a way to salute our graduating seniors. And Father Frank and Father Bill and I have talked, and we would like to do a special salute to all graduates on May 31st. May 31st being Pentecost this year. And we will be looking for your input, and you can reach out to us if you have ideas. We will have a Sunday Pentecost Mass, and the idea is at the end of that Mass to go into some salute to our seniors. So we're looking for any input, because certainly there's no script for any of us right now, and any idea is worthwhile. We've got some time to put that together, so we look forward to that opportunity. As you think of any ideas, send them our way as quickly as you get them. And I'd like to also thank Holy Family's wonderful parishioner, Brenda DuPont. She's been helping with all of our technological and live streaming and recorded type stuff. She was invaluable in putting me on the right track and making sure this was able to happen. Also, a good friend of mine, Michael Carney, has been very helpful in offering some tips, so I thank him. And certainly Father Frank and Father Bill both had some prep and some encouragement, and also some really wonderful assistance in getting this off the ground. But mostly we also thank all of you, because you have hung in there and you're putting up with all of this, and hopefully we can be of service to you. So those are the shout outs. Now for some quick commercials. Anyone at Holy Family Parish is probably aware of an old scholarship for graduating seniors in high school. which originated from the former Our Lady's Parish in West Concord. The beloved pastor, Father Ed King, has some memorial scholarships in his name, and for years were bestowed upon Our Lady's parishioners graduating from high school. And then the scholarships transitioned downtown when Holy Family Parish began. So we have not forgotten, even though Father Frank, Father Bill, and myself may be new, there is a selection committee for the Father Ed King scholarships, and that committee is still standing, still in place. So stay tuned. By May 17th at the latest, May 17th, we will have applications and nominations and information. The only wrinkle, of course, as I mentioned at the start of this, you do need to be a Holy Family graduating senior because the scholarships recognize the spirit of Father King and his service specifically in the Concord community. Secondly, believe it or not, we already start to look to the fall, and even though it's unclear whether there'll be summer programs or fall programs or who knows, in one form or another, we will be revamping and reinstituting and bringing to very vibrant life once again the peer ministry program. It needs to take on a different light because now it's serving a collaborative, and we need to set it on a new mission since the peer leaders program of St. Irene's and the peer ministry program of Holy Family were close but really different in execution. So as we head to the fall, we will be looking for peer ministers. And first, I want to apologize to anyone who was signed up to be a peer minister this year. I know that it was frustrating for you, and in this time of transition, you probably have some anger and perhaps some hatred. Hopefully, that's not long-lived, but know that it's not intentional, and by no means was it personal. But as we look forward, we know we need to bring that vital ministry back into not only our present, but really for the long-term stability of our collaborative community. So again, just like the Father King scholarships, we look to have the peer minister applications available to you online starting at May 17th, so 2 weeks from this recording. So May 17th, and then they will be rolling as we go forward. The one thing that I would bring to your attention that will be a major difference in the peer ministry model is we are opening peer ministry up to all 4 high school grade levels. In other words, you can be a 9th or a 10th grader and a peer minister if you are chosen, including confirmed 11th and 12th graders as well. More information about that as we proceed forward, but stay tuned May 17th. And with that said, as we continue to move toward a vibrant and collaborative and comprehensive youth ministry model to serve all of the youth within our jurisdictions of both of our parishes and beyond, quite frankly, we're going to need a support team, a very strong and committed, dedicated core group of adults, who can plan and brainstorm, but also do some of the administrative less glamorous types of things, as well as adults to be on the front lines who will be directly involved with the activities themselves, and perhaps some will be both. But if any adults out there are interested, please, again, reach out to us through the email address I posted earlier, and it will come up again later on as we move forward. But those are some quick commercials. Stay tuned for more information as time goes along. Hey, look at that. We can knock another one off the chart. Upcoming stuff. Well, anyone who has been watching Father Frank's pastor updates through Flocknote, and anyone can subscribe to that, and we'll give you information later on in this live stream. But Father Frank, and also in the bulletin, has been indicating recently that Lazarus House in Lawrence, which both of our parishes have a long-standing tradition of assisting, Lazarus House has reached out and said they really need help, and they have requested an awful lot of food stuff for families in need. And so therefore on Thursday, May 14th, our 2 parishes will be collecting food for Lazarus House. So the first thing is you and your family, as you go shopping in the next couple of weeks, You may want to consider picking up an item or three, and whatever your means allow. And look to Father Frank's columns as well as the bulletin and what have you for the specific needs of Lazarus House. Um, but the really important feature is this: there is only a 2 hour window to drop off the items at each of our parishes on Thursday, May 14th, and that's from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. 10 a.m. to 12 noon, that's it. Not earlier and not later, and definitely not on another day. So please consider if you can help with that. And also, we are looking for a few hand-picked high schoolers, and very few because of obviously social distancing and safety needs, to assist on the day of collection. Our confirmation families have already received the specifics, so chances are they will fill those slots. At the time that I'm speaking to you now, a few of the slots have been filled, but we still have some vacancies, so reach out if you are interested. Also, looking forward, our next live stream, we want to bring you the episode which many of you have seen in some form, especially St. Irene's has seen this the most, and that would be a feature we call Ask the Priest. Our very own parochial vicar, Father Bill Robinson, will put himself on the hot seat, and we can ask him any question we want, and he will do his best to answer it. If you'd like to give him some time to prepare his answer, you can email those questions, and again, I'll give you that address again later. But really important is we want to have some fun and we want to test our brand new, not even a priest for barely a year. This is the month where he has his anniversary as 1 year a priest. So we're grateful to Father Bill for his willingness to do it, but also we want to take the opportunity to learn from him. So ask the priest, feel free to fire along any questions that we can ask him then. And as I mentioned earlier, prayers for the daily rosary. Um, we want to have you send in your prayers, and if you send them to me by email, I can add them to the list. Again, our confirmation families received a link to a Sign Up Genius where you can go in and add it yourself. If you'd like that link, you can also email me. I'm happy to send you that. But we're asking for 5 prayers each day for the month of May of local youth-related prayer requests that we can lift up with our prayer warriors. Even if you choose not to pray the rosary daily, hopefully you would consider sending us anything you wish to have us pray for. All right, so let's go to a reflection if we could before we go to the fun stuff. And let me just take this out of there for now. And let's take a look at this line which comes to us. It was the first line of the second reading at this weekend's Mass. For Christ himself suffered for you and left you an example, so that you would follow in his steps. How appropriate that is for this time of pandemic, that we remember that, yes, our lives have been changed dramatically, but nothing as dramatic as Christ being humiliated and tortured and made to die on a cross in that fashion. So we very much keep that in our prayers and our thoughts. And may we be as humble and as gracious in the way that we handle our suffering and our disruption to our regular schedule. Okay, so here we are. There's the email address once again. We're about to head into our trivia segment. If you have not prepared your note taking ability, have your paper or your device ready. We're going to ask you 5 questions. And here's how it's going to work. You can email me with the answers to the 5 questions. You must get all of them correct. So if you get even one part of it wrong, your answer will not be considered. You'll get a big smile and obviously favors from God for being a dutiful servant. However, if you want to win the competition, there's one of 2 ways to do it. You either be the first person to answer with all 5 answers correct, and that person will get a prize, and we'll announce that in the future. Or between now and May 31st, any youth between grades 9 and 12 who get the 5 answers correct and email them to me will be part of a name pulled from a basket. We'll pull a few names on May 31st and we'll see who else will win. So there are multiple ways to win, but here we go. You want to get ready for these questions, and hopefully you have done your Sunday obligation at this point because that will be pretty important. Question number 1. What is the nickname most often given to the fourth Sunday of Easter? So as we identified, today is the fourth Sunday of Easter, and there is a nickname for that. So what is the nickname attributed to the fourth Sunday of Easter? Give you a little bit of time to maybe take some notes, maybe scratch your head like the gentleman in the picture. He's, of course, a professional model that we brought in for this experience. I'm joking, I think. But anyway, so there's question number 1. Let us move on to question number 2. Hopefully you watched Father Frank's Mass for this fourth Sunday of Easter. And in his homily, Father Frank details an experience which I'm pretty certain all of us experienced when we were kids. From his homily, where did he identify that he was when he heard his mother's voice over all else? So it was very clear in his homily that his mother's voice broke through all of the other noise and distraction of wherever he was. You need to tell us, where was Father Frank? And he was very clear in his homily today. If you have not experienced Father Frank's Mass, that's on this YouTube channel and you can check it out as well. So, you can still get your name into the May 31st drawing and go back and review Father Frank. So, what's the nickname for the fourth Sunday of Easter? Where was Father Frank when he heard his mother's voice? Now, question number 3. In today's Gospel from St. John, which we heard in chapter 10, twice Jesus emphatically told his disciples, quote, I am the what? He was very clear, and he said it twice, and it was blatantly given. So what is that blank from today's Gospel from St. John chapter 10? What was it that Jesus told the disciples that he was? So question 1, what's the nickname for the fourth Sunday of Easter? Question 2, where was Father Frank when he heard his mom's voice over everything? Question 3, what did Jesus tell the disciples he was? Here we go, question 4. This is a 2-part. You have to get both parts to qualify. How many days are there in the Easter season total? So from start to finish, how many days exist in the Easter season completely? And the second one, kind of a trick question, unless, we're not really in school, so maybe your brain is shut down a little, but how many days into the Easter season is the fourth Sunday of Easter? So in other words, today, how many days into the Easter season are we? And of course, the first part, how many days are there total? So our fifth and final question for this particular live stream. This past Friday, 2 days ago, the president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, Archbishop Jose Gomez, out in Los Angeles, reconsecrated our country, the United States, as well Canada joined along with this, to what? What did Archbishop Gomez, on behalf of our country, specifically the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, what did he reconsecrate our country to? That just happened only 2 days ago. So those are the 5 questions for this live stream. Remember, the first person to email me all 5 answers correctly, and remember, you do have to be between 9th and 12th grade. No other ages will be honored, except for maybe a more than 6 foot away handshake, I guess, when the time is right. But anybody grades 9 through 12 can qualify if you give me the 5 answers by May 31st, because we'll draw you out of a hat, a few different winners for that day. And as always, we encourage any youth who are emailing in to copy a third person on your email. You should always have a parent or another member of the staff or somebody else, preferably another adult. So there's always 3 people in every communication. Let's take a look at another reflection here. This comes to us from the last line of today's gospel. The thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. But Christ tells us, I have come that they may have life, and that they may have it more abundantly. How many of our friends can say that they came into our lives and stay in our lives purposely because they want us to have the most abundant living we possibly could? So, how did we do with our 5 trivia questions? How did we do with our reflections? Very powerful tools to think about. Well, we're in our final few minutes here, so we want to crank along and we'll look at the rest of our syllabus. So, trivia and prizes, I've explained that to you. So, um, that is going forward as outlined, but email that stuff in. Reminders, we have a few for you. Most notably, 1 week from today is Mother's Day. So please don't forget your mothers or your stepmothers or your grandmothers or your godmothers, anybody who plays a maternal role, and that includes you if you happen to be in that, because I know we have all kinds of ages of parishioners watching. So you've got a 1 week notice here if you've forgotten the calendar. So 7 days until Mother's Day. Do the right thing, even if perhaps you have a difficult or damaged or perhaps uh, distant relationship from any of your maternal figures. The other thing we all need to remember, of course, is be safe and stay safe, right? We want to listen to our scientists and our doctors and our public health officials and our government leaders and what have you. Please don't jump ahead and try to do things at your own pace. We need to work together, and there's no excuse for not listening to all the necessary guidance and guiding principles. So let's all do our part so we can, in fact, come back together as quickly as possible. And perhaps I might remind, you know, Jesus was someone who we all, for now so many years, have listened to and follow, and may we, God willing, continue to do so. And in today's gospel, he talks about how the sheep know his voice. Well, when we're talking with maybe kindergartners through grade 8, it's important for them to know the story of knowing the voice of the person who loves you and cares for you and wants to guide you. But when we get up to our age level and we're talking high school, college, and young adult, and maybe young at heart adult, um, we need to remember that our friends, our colleagues, our family, they also know our voice. And so we need to ask whether we want to be the kind of shepherd that they might want to follow. You know, one of the names for Jesus is he's the good shepherd. That means there are bad shepherds as well. A good reminder for us is to remember that we need to be good shepherds. We need to, like we saw in that reflection, we need to bring abundant life to our friends and care about their well being and their soul and their ability to live life to the full. And we will head to our keeping in touch section here. So if you are not already associated to our flock note system, if you do this right now, you can sign up to receive emails and texts. Simply text CC-Catholic to that 5-digit code, 84576. That's 84576. And once you get there, you can sign up for as many or as few of the offerings which currently exist. I will say the peer ministry tab that's there is for the outgoing year. It's not for the upcoming year. So anyone that's interested in peer ministry, that's not the place to go. But for high school youth ministry, for middle school youth ministry notices in general, for Father Frank's pastors updates, which are very frequent and very poignant and extremely on point, you can register for those. We encourage you to do so, and that's the way to sign up for Flocknote. If you have not visited our Instagram page, it's right here, CC Catholic YM, and an astute observer notices that those are not hyphens, those are underscores, because Instagram does not allow hyphens in usernames. So for this, you do need to use underscores. Little secret, even if you use the hyphens when you do the search for the profile, it'll find it. But just so you know that it's the right one, they are underscores. Um, on the Instagram page. But that's a great spot. And one of the avenues we're looking at using a little bit more frequently might be to go live on Instagram as well. So that's an opportunity for quick blast kinds of things, which would be perhaps not as necessary as a live stream as long or as detailed as this one. And then, of course, there's the email again, which we want to be sure you have. Um, and I know that I keep putting it up there, but first of all, you could get your trivia winnings through that email. You can send your questions about the Father King or the peer ministry or the adult ministry team kinds of stuff. Or if you just simply need to talk or be pointed in the right direction, or perhaps you want to figure something out. As always, though, we remind you if you are under the age of 18, you should always have a third person copied into the mix as you go. Incidentally, the very first one I pointed out there, the flock note at the top, CC Catholic to flock note, that does have safeguards already in place. So if you communicate individually, there are several administrators that are able to confidentially be aware of what's going on through that means. But either through direct message on Instagram or emails or any other form of communication, just like in person, there should always be a third person so that it's never one youth and one adult communicating in any circumstances whatsoever. Which brings us to our wrap up for this evening. And as promised, we said about 30 minutes, and here we are, just a couple of minutes past that. And I was checking the levels at the beginning, otherwise, we would have been probably right at 30 minutes as we went. Listen, I can't tell you enough how much I admire your faith, the way that you live your faith. I pray that you not give up on your faith and instead you consider things like, you know, what has been the surprise since the pandemic came about and since the stay-at-home advisory has been brought to us and the non-essential businesses and the schools, changing the format and the location and what have you of learning? There's got to be a silver lining that you can point to and say, actually, this emerged as something that I really like. And we see in social media a lot of things, messages which say, be careful that as life starts to slowly open up again, you really want to consider what are the aspects I do not want to rush back to? What are the habits or perhaps the toxic situations which I found myself in which were stressful? What are the ways, as our gospel today teaches us, what are the ways that we can live abundantly and we can bring that abundant life to everybody else that we meet? Those are the three communication methods down at the bottom. If you have an idea how often you might want to see one of these things, let me know. If you have an idea whether you might be interested in like Zoom meetings, and we can do those as often or with as many or as few people as you like. If you'd like to do a daily rosary together, I know I am fervently praying the rosary and for those intentions that are lifted up. And if there's ever any other reason, just let us know. We're here to serve, and that goes for not only myself, but certainly any of our staff members, our deacons and priests, as well as our currently involved adults with youth ministry and through our religious education program as well. My friends, I would say it's been great to see you. I haven't really seen you here, uh, but my faith tells me that we're doing the very best we can, and sometimes that's more than enough. So together, let's try to keep doing that. Let's keep asking what God wants us to do. Let's bring that abundant life to every moment. And I look forward to catching up with you again soon. God bless.